Okay, my couture crafters, let's play with some backgrounds. Don't do this unless you just want to be doing this all day because it's addicting and you just can't stop. Like, I literally couldn't stop. So I'm going to use my Jelly Arts background plate in the size 5x7. I wish that I had the Dina Wakely and Diane Reevely sizes because they have what would lend itself to a slimline card. They have one that I believe is 5 by 11 or 12 inches. I want it. And I think I kind of was, when I was looking at the set, it comes with three. It comes with like a small round one, the rectangle one, and then I think another 5x7 or something like that. And I was like, I already have sizes that can do that, but now I want it. I want all the Jelly Art sizes. So I'm using Colorbox, one of their small ink pads. At one point, I was chasing all the Colorbox ink because they also have a foam pad. And so you get a really good impression, you get good coverage. And one cool thing about Colorbox is that it doesn't bead up on a jelly plate. The water content must be so low that it just doesn't react. So here I cut up glossy paper. So instead of using regular paper right now, I'm using glossy paper. I don't know why. Maybe because I have a whole ream of it and I don't use it often. So I thought, let's see what happens. And there I was testing it with my finger to see if that color box smudges, and it doesn't. It stayed right on there. That liquid that I put off to the side is by Tattered Angels. Remember back in the day when Tattered Angels was the spray? Like everybody had Tattered Angel spray with the mica powders in there. Well, I never use them, and they have the all-time worst sprayers ever. They used to stay clogging, and so those kind of got put to the side. So I figured I would use them. So I just used a pipette and dripped it on the white part of this station here. There goes another Tattered Angels. On Facebook, I asked my friend Aisha to pick my colors for another fairy card, and she was like, "I want purple, orange, turquoise, and fuchsia." I was like, "What?" I was like, I thought she was gonna pick two colors. I should have said pick two colors, but she picked a ton of colors. So I'm trying to get a background in those colors that will work. That's what the goal was. But then I just went way off in left field, and you'll see that. So again, I used a brayer and I loaded the brayer with ink, and then I sprinkled and splattered that stuff down. Now, with the jelly plate, you can keep going and use stencils, but I was really trying to get a background that could actually be a background that wasn't too busy. That I don't know. I don't know what I was doing. I was just playing. Let's just say I was playing. And so I'm grabbing a fan brush. I mixed up a little bit of water over there and I'm dripping it on the plate. Now, this is a Lavinia stamps kind of technique. It's what she does. She uses color box. She puts it on the jelly plate like this. She drips colors down, but she uses regular cardstock. I don't know that I've ever seen her use glossy cardstock. And when I switch over to regular cardstock, my results change quite a bit. You guys know I love an ombre. I can't help it. I just want everything to be an ombre. I don't know. Blends just really make me happy. So now I'm using my kaleidoscope um, stamp pad, which is right in front of you, and I chose to keep it open so that it kind of fits the entire size of the brayer. And I'm still using glossy cardstock, and these are my pulls. I don't know why I'm getting pooling in some areas, but I don't care. You get what you get, and you do not throw a fit. So I'm just loading this with the color, and now I'm splashing splatters on here with this fan brush. I should have, well, there's different ways of loading a fan brush so that you get more drips, but this is what I was doing. I'm just playing, and it gets addictive. Like I said, I can't stop. So on this one, I'm pushing it down, I'm smoothing it over, I'm pulling the excess to see what I get. Some of them are pretty, some of them, eh, eh. So then I grabbed another one of my kaleidoscope ombre pads. I really like those pads. Those pads don't get enough love, in my opinion. They're also not moving on that glossy cardstock. I forget what glossy cardstock it is. I got it from Kelly Paper. I just asked for some glossy cardstock, and that's what they gave me. And now I have a huge ream of it, and I don't know that I will ever go through it. My Nina, however, is starting to get kind of low. It might be time to go get another ream of Nina, which makes me happy because I always say with all the Michaels cardstock, I don't know that I could go through it in a lifetime because I bought so much. And I want to kind of go through it and get rid of it because I have so much and I want to upgrade my cardstock with different colors and a little heavier weight. But we'll see. We'll see what happens going forward. I don't know. So here I'm just pulling and layering. If you wanted to know what a jelly plate feels like, it feels like a big thing of jello. That's basically what it gelatin, like a large plate of gelatin. So I decide that I don't want to use a jelly plate and I'm just going to use the brayer directly on the cardstock. Now with slick cardstock like this, it's smooth. It's smooth. You get a nice impression. You get great color payoff. It's nice. See? Look, it's nice. And that's 5 by 7 again. So I decide that I want to do it a different direction. And I don't know why I chose to do this, but I turned it sideways. I don't know, just playing, guys. Sometimes you just need to play with your stuff to see what's going to happen, to see if you like it, and just go for it. So now I'm pulling it long ways. Now this sheet of paper is really long. It's 11 inches by, I think one is like 4 1/4 and the other one is 4. And I don't know. Who knows? They're not even. I don't know why I didn't cut them even, but I didn't. I think one's 4 1/2 and one is 4. Yes, that's what happened. One is 4, one is 4 1/2. Just cut the paper differently. Don't know why I did it. I just did it. Playing once again. So here I decide I want to move this blue, but what I really wanted was for it to be dark on one side and light on the other. And I'm trying to figure out how I can do that, still keeping the integrity of each of the colors and get it all the way down to the bottom. Really, it can't. I couldn't. I couldn't figure it out at that time. I figured out how to do it later, but like I said, you get what you get and you do not throw a fit. And at the end, I'm going to show you guys what all of the prints look like that I ended up doing. So just using the brayer again, pulling it all the way down. And here is where I kind of got the light on one side and then dark on the other. You just keep pulling it toward you. And I'm not doing anything special. I'm not going back and forth. It looks like I'm going back and forth, but I pull it all the way towards my body and then I go back up. Pull it all the way towards my body and go back up. This is what happens when you do it on regular cardstock. You get no movement. You get no blending. It's not going to blend down the card. I can blend out the brayer in one spot, but I will not be able to move it down. This is regular card again, and that's blah. Did not like it. That wasn't fun. So then I busted out a large jelly plate. Why not? I think the dimensions of this guy are 12 by 8, maybe? Maybe 11. I don't know. But it's the largest jelly plate that I own. At this point, I can't see myself getting a larger jelly plate. I would like to get one that's about 11. I really want one that's 4, maybe 4 1/2. So I guess I should just deal with the 5 by 11. But I think I am going to end up buying the one with Dina Wakley and Diane Reevely. Even though I haven't seen either one of them really use their jelly plates, I think it's cool that they have it. But I don't think they've really done a lot of videos showing how they use it, which is sad because I thought they were going to go in with that. So now I'm using Catherine Pooler inks to see what happens. They still bead, but the color releases beautifully. And I think I used up so much orange that now I need to get the refill of the orange. I might actually have that refill. I'm not 100% sure. But remember the colors that Aisha said she wanted me to use? Orange and fuchsia, purple, teal, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm trying to get a blend because that's who I am. And so I'm trying to blend into the orange or the fuchsia into the orange or the orange into the fuchsia. What's cool about this is how I'm taking blue and purple and I'm putting it on that orange and I'm not getting mud. For whatever reason, when you use a jelly plate, it somewhat holds the integrity of the color on top of the other color. Watch. So I'm grabbing a sheet of paper. I think this is a regular piece of cardstock. I'll be able to tell you right now. But look on the orange how I get actual purple and blue without getting mud. You see it gets a little brown, but it's not like mud. And I thought that's kind of interesting. This is what happens when you play. You find out things, and then we find out together, and we tell each other because we don't want to be shady and keep all our secrets to ourselves. I want you guys to know what will work. So here I'm grabbing Flirty Fuchsia and I'm applying it with the brayer. And then I decide to roll off the excess paint and then go down to the center a little bit so that it softens that center so that I don't have such a harsh line of demarcation. So now I'm flipping it around since I'm right-handed and I'm pulling that orange into the pink. Then I roll off on the side. I clean off the brayer just by literally rolling it, and then I go down the center. Now that helps, but on the far right and the far left, I got a harsh line again. And I'm like, gosh darn it, watch when you see the pull, you'll see that the center is smooth, but then I have a harsh line on the left, a harsh line on the right. So what do I need to do? Get a larger brayer, you say? Eh, no, there's a way. I figured it out eventually. So I'm tapping the blues and the purples all over, trying to get some good splatter for a good background. And my issue is I don't know how to use pastel colors. Like the colors I use are so vibrant. Ooh, that's pretty. But do you see how it's kind of a harsh pink line to the right and to the left? Ugh. I tried it again, trying to smooth it all the way through. So here we are again. Is this? Oh, this is me working on regular cardstock, and it's a fail. Just used up a bunch of orange ink for absolutely no reason at all. And then I just clean off the brayer. That's how I'm cleaning off the brayer. On regular copy paper to the side. Okay, so here is how I figured out how to get a smooth blend. And I don't know if I can get it super vibrant. Actually, I probably can if I do it a couple of times. So I'm using that super bright limoncello color. Isn't it pretty? Love it. And I pulled it all the way through to the right. I just kept working it and working it and working it, and I got a smooth blend, see, for the most part. So now what I'm going to do, I don't know what I'm picking up right there. Let's see what I pulled. Okay, so I worked it all the way through to the right. Now I'm going to grab another color and work it all the way through. You'll see me do it. I just keep pulling the color all the way to the left. So I start on the right and just start going. And keep going. By the time I roll off my brayer, there's barely any ink left. So I took that paper and I flipped it around, and there we got a blend. So that's kind of what you got to do in order to get a smooth blend of two colors. And I think if you keep going over it and keep pulling, it'll probably become more vibrant. So I just use one color at a time. And I wanted some pretty splatters with iridescence in them, more iridescence, and I wanted a fuchsia color. So I went ahead and grabbed my Old Faithful Funky Fuchsia by Dilutions and Pure Sunshine, which is a super yellow bright color, also by Dilutions. And I just dropped a little water in there to make it more watery so that it'll splatter a little easier. And then I just started splattering all over. And I think this is the one that I actually decided to use first. I'm going to use them all at some point for backgrounds or journal art pages or who knows, whatever. But this is the one that I think I used today for my first fairy art journal kind of page. And look at how the Pure Sunshine, I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but it's super iridescent. You can kind of see the iridescence left over on the jelly plate. I didn't add any more ink. I just started adding splatters to the plate because I realized it will reactivate or sit on top or do its thing just by dropping it onto the jelly plate and then putting the print over it, even though there's no ink down. So here I am just doing a mist. And I did some purples this time too. And you can see that the purple is still purple on top of the yellow. Again, at the end, you'll be able to see it in slow motion. Then I decided I want to play with the brayer again. I don't know why. It turns out if you use dye-based ink on this glossy paper, it won't budge. Like it doesn't come off after it's dry. That doesn't rub off at all. It's just on there. I like the size of this paper. It's 11 inches. It's a long one. You know, guys know I like slimline everything. And now I'm just going over the yellow with the orange. Isn't that pretty? And I'm just pulling it to the right. And then I have a nice gradient. Now that won't work with all colors. You'll see now I was like, oh, well, I'll just add the fuchsia. Like fuchsia should still show up on orange and yellow. Yeah, but it wasn't fuchsia. See, it just kind of comes up a red, which is nice, but not what I was going for. Now, of course, I could have busted out a blending sponge or some brushes, but just different techniques. And this is way faster than me and way easier than me doing any blending. Like foam with the foam thing, that's a lot of work. By the time you get to swirling your arm all around, and that's a lot of work. I've done it. You've done it. We've all done a little foam blending before, but this is a lot faster. So I pull the yellow through again, and I just keep working my way all the way down, and it fades up. It does come to a nice fade. And you guys know I like an ombre, so I'm just getting excited, and I just keep doing it over and over and over again. And I'm using a speedball brayer. Those things are expensive, so please use them with a coupon at Joann's or Michael's or wherever you decide you want to go. Because, again, I think that thing is like 20 bucks maybe. I think that little thing is $20. And you have to be careful with it. You really want it to remain smooth and clean. I have one that I use with like glue or something. I don't know what I did, but it's not smooth. It's not good. I ruined it. I have some that I use specifically with paint. And I have different sizes. I wish I had a big one. I might have a big one. Who knows what I have in my collection? I'm working on that, guys. But I wouldn't mind having a larger one for that large jelly roll plate. That might actually behoove me to get one of those. Okay, so the way that I clean off my brayer is just with a baby wipe. When I'm going between colors like yellow and purple, I will use a baby wipe to wipe it off and then grab a sheet of paper and just roll it to make sure that there's no ink on there. And that works just fine. I don't use any alcohol with that. And here are my backgrounds. So you see that line down the center? I didn't love that one. Then we have the pretty pull with the shiny paper. That's matte paper. I don't like that one. I don't mind that one there. The blue one's pretty. The pink is pretty. But I feel like I have those already somewhere in my collection. These are the first ones I used that came up way more pastel. And glossy paper, some more glossy paper, a glossy pink. And I cut these down. I didn't use any with that white border on them. That one's pretty. This one's kind of cool too. And that one's okay. And that one's pretty. And I will be using these. So look forward to seeing these backgrounds going forward. Shout out if you hung out with me this entire time. Drop any of your questions below and we'll talk about it. All right, guys. See you later.